Everybody, welcome to the South Australian Sports Show. I hope you can stay with us for the next hour. We have plenty coming up on the show. We've got the chairman of swimming coming in for a chat. We've got the CEO of Athletics South Australia. We've got an up-and-coming superstar from softball from Renmark who's down here playing with the Port Magpies. So plenty to get across on the show. Plus, one that we never talk about, we're going to talk about lawn mower racing. As always, I'm joined by the swimming superstar of South Australia, Britt. How are you?
Good, great to be here again.
You always get a little embarrassed when I say the swimming superstar, don't you?
I know, yeah.
Well, I'm saying the gold medal entitles you to be one of those. I don't care what you say, you're going to be one. Now, your boy, Benny Simmons, back playing for Philadelphia.
He's back.
He thought he'd better take his $200 million for the next 4 years.
You wouldn't pass it up, would you? I don't know, I wouldn't.
Hey, there's a couple of things I want to ask you. There's been a lot of talk this week, and it was always going to eventually get there where athletes are starting to say they don't want to get vaccinated to compete. And we respect their freedom of choice. So obviously it's an issue of if you don't get vaccinated, you can't play. It's not as simple as I've been vaccinated, I'm okay if someone's not vaccinated, because you can't then travel. So hypothetically, be it a swimming event, the AFL, basketball, whatever sport, if you're not vaccinated, then you've got to face the other restrictions of quarantine. So where would you sit now if they came to you tomorrow and said, okay, Britt, we're having the swimming Olympic trials in Melbourne, you have to be double vaccinated to go. If you don't double vax, you can't go. What would you do?
Well, personally, I'm already double vaxxed, so it wouldn't be an issue. I just think I made my own informed decision, like everyone's entitled to, and I just thought it was the best thing for me. But I think when it comes to your sport and in the sporting industry, it's an evolving issue that we're seeing at the moment, and I think we've been so lucky here in South Australia, like we haven't had much COVID. So there hasn't been that pressure to make that choice for the people who are still making their informed decision. But what we're seeing is, there's a bit more pressure coming from the government and even governing bodies and organisations to make their stance and start. There will be sort of mandates in place soon, and I guess it'll start to come out on those athletes who are still kind of undecided, I guess.
It's a really tricky one, isn't it? Just moving off of that, there's been a report this week, FINA, of course, I know you know a lot about that. They're going to investigate East German swimmers for the steroid use and drug cheating. So just for some of the viewers, and just to give you a heads up on where I'm going with this, Krista Noddy, of course, was a phenomenal East German swimmer in the 70s and 80s, an unbelievable swimmer. 6 gold medals she won in 88, swimming for East Germany, I think it was 88. One more, if the 800 metres freestyle had been in for women, she would have won 7, equaling Mark Spitz. Now, she's always denied saying that she said it. She said this during the period the East German doping was going on. She said, I have never knowingly taken a banned substance. So she uses the word knowingly. So she didn't know, but during that period, the East Germans, of course, they had a doping program. I mean, we already know about that. It's already proves where the swimmers, the rowers, whatever sport you were in, were basically taking steroids or getting injected because this was going to help you. Where do you think that sits for the swimmers now? And hopefully it'll go into, like Raylene Boyer, for example. She's up for a couple of gold medals if they pursue this outside of, if athletics get on it as well. Is it something that the swimmers really want, or it's too far back now to go, you won a gold medal in 1980, here's your gold medal, it really has no meaning anymore?
No, I think it's really devastating when you look back to people losing their moment. And regardless of what happens now, they're never going to be able to redo that moment. Yes. So I think that moment's been and gone. And I guess whatever happens now, they can somewhat relish in knowing that, they were the deserving winner. But a certain element is they've had to live with sort of questioning it for however many years. So I guess they've found their own ways to deal with it. Hopefully they've, kind of moved past it, or somewhat is coping with the outcome without having any control over it. But it's just devastating that some people deserve that moment and they just never get to,
it's taken from them,
to really relish in it.
I mean, I think you'd want the gold medal. If it was me, I would definitely want to be given the gold medal. I'd understand that it can't be taken back and get the moment that I lost. It's a bit like Lance Armstrong watching all the cyclists that he cheated over time, and that was a bit more public where they get the gold medal given back to them, that they would have won a first, second place, and you get your name on the board, but you never get that moment where you stand on the dais and get the recognition. That's the part that's really robbed, I think. So.
And I think even just when you mention her saying knowingly took something, I think, we saw it with Essendon and the doping scandal, and to some extent, like within sport, you're so trusting in the organisation,
Yes.
medical team, and you want to do anything to be able to race and compete. And yeah, at times I think that's when it comes back to, and we discussed it last week with the Shayna Jack incident with her doping allegations. It's the responsibility of the athlete to double question and exactly what's going in their body, regardless of if it's a mandatory injection or whatever it is. It's the same as the vaccine. It's up to you to make an informed decision, and you still have that right.
Yeah, it's a really good point. I think at a young age, you probably just say, if the doctor says you've got to do it and you want to compete, at a young age, you tend to follow that. And as you get a bit older and wiser, you get a bit better at it. All right, time for us to get rolling. We need to get over to Jamie for all the sporting news. Jamie?
Thanks, guys. Let's get right into it. In the National Premier League, the men's and women's divisions wrapped up their last preliminary finals. West Adelaide won the Women's League 4-0 against Adelaide City, with goals scored by Harriet Burnett, Laura Johns and Alison Atkins. Ninko Beric scored for the Adelaide Comets, who won the Men's League against the Sturt Lions. West and Comets will advance to the grand finals for their respective leagues, which will be played against Salisbury and City this weekend. In the races, Phil and Eyes ran a career best, winning the Rebel Raider Series final at Morfettville, which was valued at over $100,000. The 3-year-old, trained by Dion Kosh, racked up 3 wins and a second place from just 5 starts throughout the series. On a related note, the recent controversial decision to jump racing has sparked outrage in the community. The Australian Jumps Racing Association offered Racing SA a package of $500,000 to fund the sport, however, it was rejected. The controversial choice inspired a new campaign which is dedicated to forcing out those that played a part in making the decision. The campaign will also serve to preserve almost 150 years of SA history that has come with jump racing. In Adelaide footy news, Payneham Norwood Union have picked up Jeremy Cheney as its new coach. After previously spending time at Norwood and coaching Old Ignatians from Division 3 to 2, he will now be filling the shoes of previous coach Jace Bode. Cheney says that he is excited to take on the role and hopes to take Payneham a step further to win the flag next year. Port District have also picked up 2 players for next year's Adelaide Footy League, Sam and Tom Gray. Sam says that he's looking forward to playing with his brother for the first time since they played for the Magpies in the SANFL. In cricket, the new coach of the Adelaide women's team, Hannah Armstrong, feels that they can succeed in the upcoming Premier League. It will be the first time the Buffaloes will field a women's side in 20 years, and they've prepared plenty of talent for the season. Although Armstrong is new to the club, she scored an impressive 73 runs off 47 balls last weekend. She says that although she was nervous upon arrival to the club, she has received great support from her teammates and coaching staff. That's all I've got for you this week. I'm Jamie Tenikoff. We've got more on the way after the break.